today's topic is going to be about, in my opinion, how capitalism and inflation is honestly screwing over the car market. Not only the car market, but car enthusiasts. So this is my 2015, let me throw my seatbelt on. Here we go. But I feel like, I personally believe how, how everything is just getting so expensive to the point to where it's like our younger enthusiasts and people who are caught in the middle gaps, like of trying to go to college and instead of working full time and etc., to purchase these cars and such. I kind of feel like, stuff is just super expensive now. Not just like parts, but like certain cars as a whole. Like, I want a BMW E36. At one point, yeah, they were going for less than $1,000, but now everyone thinks they know what they have. A lot of cars are super inflated, like the Mark IV Supra. At one point, like 10 years ago, I know 10 years is a long time, but 10 years ago, that car, you probably could have got it for maybe 10 grand, because it was like a 90s car. But now with the hype of social media and etc. and YouTubers, they did the same thing to the GTR. Like, it became a YouTuber's car. And today, a GTR, is a very good, high-performing car. But I feel like, shoot, they make everything so expensive, even trucks. Like with capitalism and everything, like, some cars aren't supposed to be that expensive. Like the Hellcat. When the Hellcat first released, it was about like 50 grand. Like, yeah, it was a slim body, but for the first 2-3 years, that car was 50 grand. And then 60 grand. I was like, okay. But now with the wide bodies and things like that, Scat Packs, brand new, are going for 60 grand, which to me is super insane. And the greed of dealership markups and things, like I said, just getting more and more expensive. I feel like it messes up everyone trying to get a nice car and trying to enter the car scene. Because at one point, everyone's interest for cars was able to just get any car for a good to moderate to decent price. Good credit, bad credit, cash cars. The supply and demand, wasn't that bad. But nowadays, it's like we have supply, but at the end of the day, I kind of feel like we don't have options either. Like, look at the cars that we do have compared to the cars that were here of the early 2000s and 90s era. Like, there were so many different car brands, like the Pontiac G8 was a sedan V8. They also came in the V6 model. But the only car that we have that's an American sedan that produces a decent amount of horsepower, that's still a big car and made in America. It's probably like not even the Chevy SS, because that was discontinued due to how expensive it was, and it wasn't selling because of how expensive it was. The only American V8 we have is the Dodge Charger, and it makes sense to why a lot of people love and enjoy that car. But still, like, that's the point that I'm trying to prove. Like, you can't even buy a brand new car for less than like 30 grand, like a good muscle or a sports car. At one point, all of these were pretty cheap. Like when the Ford Mustang came out in 2015, that was a 25-30 grand car. Like, I could pull it up. I may be off, but I may be close. But that car was no more than like super expensive. And on the used market, you could have got it for a good price. Even used cars now are just stupid expensive. Like, just super expensive for no apparent reason, in my opinion. What else? Yeah, I kind of feel like future car enthusiasts, like, especially with the cars that we have now, like the new cars coming out, you can't even get, like I said, a good used car without 1 million miles for damn near what it cost when it came out. Like this Q50 in front of me, pre-pandemic, like, I know times are different as I mentioned, but pre-pandemic you could have got a decent Q50 for about maybe like 15 grand. I have a screenshot of my phone. But now you can try to get a Q50 with like 30-40k miles, and that'd be like an easy 26k car. Like, even these G35s, like from like 2010, like those cars are still going for like 2017 with like 80,000 miles. Like, obviously there are certain cars that are cheaper, like my Camaro. I looked on the used car market. you know, you could probably find one for about like 10, but still, like, with like 100K miles, that's kind of insane to me. Like, you know. And then the aftermarket support for a lot of these cars are so bad. Like, everything's like Alibaba. There's no original. And then with the originality, I kind of feel like YouTubers like take so much of the originality away, because at a certain point, everyone has the same car. Like, no offense, like, I love the Hellcat, right? I near and dear still want one if it becomes safer. But like with YouTubers, I kind of see a lot of YouTubers have like the same builds. Like, some of these viral YouTubers, not to call out any names, but like everything is just a wrap, Hellcat logo on the side, not a supercharger, an air intake, and that's it. Like, and a lot of times they have this verbal tune, like, and I'm not saying or judging these people, but like with modifying cars, I know you can do whatever you want, but sometimes it's like these mods aren't even like true mods, they're just like aesthetics. Like, and people may say in the comments like, oh, he has a V6 Camaro. Like, dude, like, be for real. Like, there's YouTubers who like actually modify cars, like Adam LZ, for example. I watch him too. And Cletus McFarlane. Cletus builds cars. Adam builds cars. A lot of these YouTubers, like, you can see they do the same thing. Like, sometimes they just throw a wrap on the car. I want to wrap my car, but I also want to get into like skillful driving. So that's just my like short little rant about like, okay, I didn't say it, but the cars just passed. As you can see, it was a white Scat Pack, right? All he had was a wrap, and I'm pretty sure an exhaust. There's not much you could do to a Scat Pack, but at the same time, what did I just say? It's just a wrap. Like, a lot of these, you know, a lot of new car guys just wrap their cars with a crazy wrap, and it is very nice. But I don't know, it's like the car scene dying from capitalism and, you know, no choices, because like the only people who do get a choice, in my opinion, are like the rich people. And no offense, but like people who can actually afford like higher end cars like the STO and GT3 and GT3 RS, they're the only ones who actually get like a different model of car and XYZ. Like Mercedes, I used to be very, you know, I used to love Mercedes. Like, at home, my parent owned a Mercedes, but it's just a C250. And honestly, like, that was around the era when the C63 W204 came out. I was the biggest fan of that car, and like that car to me like was a very good performance car. Like, the exhaust was amazing. Then they came out with the new model the year after with the twin turbo V8. That car was a beast as well. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, cars are just different. Like, everything around it, like trying to afford the car, different types of cars you can choose from, because like no one wants to get like an old Maserati with the maintenance of, you know, with the maintenance cost of a new Maserati. Like Nissans, like I've been looking at 350Zs and 370Zs. Everyone knows what they have. Like, everyone knows what they have. Trying to sell a car for like super expensive, like an '08 350Z. No offense, like I understand inflation and supply and demand, and they don't make this car anymore, but certain cars prices don't make any sense to me. Like, I'm looking for a 350Z, a stick shift. Literally the cheapest one I found is probably like 6-7 grand, and it's like, at one point you could have got that car for 3,000-4,000 at most for like a clean 350Z manual transmission. 370Cs, that was a newer car, which makes sense to me. But now, like, still, like the first, like the '09 370Zs, you can't even get those for no less than like 15 grand. Like, and I'm not saying it should be cheap, but where are the cheap cars is what I'm trying to say. Like what happened to the, you know, the purpose of a project car? Like, you can't even purchase a project car without it being a new car. And like, I'm not saying it for the views, but for the actual car enthusiastic of it. Like, a clean, good car, or just any car, it's just super expensive. No offense, but it just like, and I'm not like a cheap person, like I would spend money, but it just, you can't find a reasonably priced car, or I'm just out of touch. And if I am out of touch, just let me know down in the comments below. But give me your opinion on it, and how do you guys feel about, you know, the way it is with cars without the options, without the options of having multiple cars, like without them being stick shift anymore, a lot of them coming automatic. If you have any comments, concerns, or tips to send, anything you want to say down below, just let me know.